Great. Hi, everybody, and welcome. I'm Sheila Sovey, our customer success representative with FarmQA. Today, we're going to go over planning like a pro. So that's our planning add-on, and then we'll also talk a little bit about our nutrient blender add-on as well that we have. Just a couple housekeeping items before we get started. Next week, we have our FarmQA Day. Excuse me. Next, we have our FarmQA Day in Fargo, North Dakota. So if you haven't signed up and you're able to come, please get those sign-ups done, and so we can see you next week. And then in today's webinar, we're going to go over building crop plans, field by field or in bulk, setting yield goals, aligning inputs, creating application plans, and then using next year's data to inform and make smarter decisions. And then we do have people monitoring as well. So if you have questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat, and then we will try to answer those in as real time as possible. And if not, we will go back over any questions that you guys have. So getting started with crop planning, we are going to start out on our controller or our web-based platform within FarmQA. To go ahead and get the planning started for next year. First thing we're going to do is we're going to kind of build out our year. We're going to go through how to get our growing season started, adding in our crop coefficients, products, blends, mixes, all that kind of help us get that built up to get that crop plan going. So starting out, we are going to go into our settings. And in here, we're going to go ahead and create, under growing seasons, we're going to create our 2026 growing season. So we are going to duplicate our current growing season, so that way all of our field boundaries from 2025 will match in 2026. You see it created that copy of that 2025 growing season. We're going to go ahead and change this name to 2026. Switch the state into active, so that way everything will be able to be seen. Double check that our dates are correct for where we want that to be. And then we're going to go ahead and save that at the top here. While we are in our settings, we're going to go over to our crops and varieties. This will be lists of all of our crops that we have in our system, any varieties that you guys have loaded. And you're going to notice on the far right-hand side, we have the nutrient coefficients. These will come in handy for calculating those yield goals when we're making the plans or when we're doing any nutrient blending. These are based off of what you feel is best on a crop-by-crop basis, or how you guys calculate that information. So as you can see, we've got a couple in here for corn and for beans. Just to kind of run you guys through how we do this, I'm going to come down here to my soybeans, and we're going to go ahead and edit this. And then we're going to click to edit the nutrients. This will then pop up that nutrients per yield goal or per yield text box here. And we're able to go ahead and modify what we want these to be. And this will be your pound per bushel that you want to produce roughly. So we're just going to throw some numbers in here. And again, none of this is real information, just kind of making up numbers as we go here along. So we've got our NP and K. We can also go in and add any of our micronutrients as well, if that's stuff that you want to monitor on a crop basis. I'm going to go ahead and leave that blank at this time. We're going to go ahead and select save, and then you'll see that those numbers then showed up over here under that nutrient coefficient. Moving on from here, to help us build out our products and our planning, we're going to go into the advice section of FarmQA, and then we are going to select products at the top. In here, this is where you will load any of your chemicals, fertilizers, any of that information in here. You can make blends in here as well to help out with being able to do this, be more efficient going forward within it. So to add a new product, if you're adding any chemicals, you can import those from the EPA website. Or for fertilizers, we create the new products. And just for example, I'm just gonna create a NPK name, and then we're gonna go ahead and we are gonna make this a blend. In which case then over on the right-hand side, we will add in our products that we're gonna use. So in here, we can just do our N, our P, and our K, and then add those in, and you'll see that it'll break those out evenly. If you do not want those to be evenly broken out, you can go ahead and change these. So say we want this one to be 50. You do need the totals to equal 100% exactly. Now you can see you've got those rates in there. You can add in your rates in pounds per acre, gallons per acre, however you would like to have those done. We're just gonna throw some numbers in here. And then we'll go ahead and save that, and then you'll see that it will show up in your product listing on the left-hand side. And again, you can do this for making sure that you bring in any product you have. If you don't want to do a blend, you're also able to just bring in your own nitrogen, and then you can go ahead and just have that one 100% of that mix. We're going to save it. And then we can submit this as a dry fertilizer, or you can put it into a liquid fertilizer as well. And it would have that information saved to it. Once you get down here, you're able to put pricing in here as well. So that way, if you are submitting quotes as pricing or with pricing to growers or whomever you need to submit them to, you would have that information in here as well. And you can even select like which crop you want it to be specific for, what kind of application method, or when you want it applied to be more specific in here as well. We will go ahead and save that. Another thing too, especially when you get into the planning, is we now have the capability to also put seeds in here. So that would be also a new product. All the way down to seed. We can name and then go down and we can put your rate. So it would be, you can do bags, bushels, pounds, seeds per acre, however you digest this information or whatever is easiest for you and your team to remember. Just fill out the information as much as possible in here. And go ahead and save this. Next, we will move into the mixes. This is if you have a specific mix that you use every year for your fertilizer. You can do fertilizer mixes in here as well as your chemical fungicide, insecticide mixes as well. So just to go ahead and create one here, we'll go into that new mixes page. And then we are just going to go and name this for the webinar today. And we are just plug in that this is going to be a fertilizer application. We want to do this with pre-plant, and you can even select which crop you want it to go to, or you can just leave that blank as well, and you don't need to have a specific product. When you open up the products, it'll bring up that product list that you went ahead and curated before you came in here, and you are able to go ahead and select those chemical products. Today, we're just going to throw a couple different ones in here that we created. And we're going to go ahead and get those added in, and then you will see that those appear over here. You can also adjust the rates in your pounds per acre in these levels as well, and then go ahead and save them. Now that we've got our growing season, our coefficients, products, and mixes put in, we're going to go ahead and move into our plan template creation. So under the advice, so we have the plan templates. These plan templates can be done on a organizational basis. So if you have a specific grower that uses the same products every year, or maybe a specific type of product, and you want to have a plan just for them in their fields, you're able to go ahead and create these templates for them in their fields. You're also able to go ahead and just create them by crop. If you want to do high yield, low yield, even if you just want to create a couple in here to go ahead and play around with, to kind of see what would be the best options moving forward, you can do that as well. So to go ahead and create a plan template, we'll just select that add button at the bottom. Today we're gonna make a bean template. And then we're gonna go ahead and select our crop that's gonna be associated with it. And then you can go ahead and place in your yield goal that you would like for that. And this is under the organization, this is where you can determine if this is just for one specific grower or if it's going to be for the company as a whole. Once you have that done, you are able to go ahead and add in a step. You can do this step from the mixes. So from the mix page that we had just completed, we can go ahead and select, and it will bring up that list of all of your mixes that you have in here. So for today, we're going to bring in that spring fertilizer one. And then let's go ahead and bring in a pre-emerge as well. So now we have this step in here. We can just leave this as a pre-emerge step, or you can retitle it to spring. And then you have those two options in there. And you will get a notification if you don't have rates in here. So to get those rates put in, we will just go ahead and select that pencil. And we're just gonna throw a couple numbers in here. Add in our gallon per acre, and then when we want this to be done. And also you can put in any instructions that you want in here. And that will go ahead and save. And then you can go ahead and add in another step or as many steps as you want. So if you know you've got a spring fertilizer or pre-emerge plan that you put on, if you have fungicide that you potentially want to have on here as well, you can have all of those steps laid out within here. Apologize for my computer being a little slow here. And then again, just go ahead and adjust those rates for however you typically would use or plan. Post-emergent, and then again, those notes. And then for this one, we'll go ahead and we're just going to do a blank step. So this one, we're going to title it Fall Fert. Then we can go ahead and add those products in. So now you'll see who pulls in those informations. And then you'll notice on the right-hand side, it's keeping those tracks of those ingredients, and then as well as that nutrient information for you as well. And since we are doing this one as a fertilizer, we are also able to go ahead and calculate those nutrients based off of the yield goals that you have preset in here. And we can go ahead and adjust these to assist you with meeting those yield goals. We can go ahead and save that information. Then we want this done post-harvest, and then once we have all of our different steps within our plan here filled out, we will go ahead and save this plan. And then from here, we will go into our fields list and enter the planning section of our fields. In here, you can see I have a 2025 plan already done, but we are planning for next year. So we're going to go ahead and create a 2026. And then we are going to go ahead and make sure that the growing season is for the growing season we want it to be under. And we're going to go ahead and create that plan. Once we are in here, it will go ahead and pull up our entire field list that we have. And then as we scroll over to the right, you'll see your listing of what crops were on those fields previous years. So for 2026, we currently have the same one set for last year, but we can go ahead and plan. We should actually go to our fields page, and then we are just going to go ahead and change some of these up from last year, because we don't necessarily always want them to be the same ones. Maybe the bulk assign. We don't have a plant date yet. We are really make sure we're in the proper growing season as well. Go ahead and change a handful of these so that we get a good variety into our planning tabs. So now once we are in that back on the fields, in the planning, in the 2026 growing season, we are able to see here, now we have a little bit of a change up from the previous year. So for when it comes to planning, if you want to make it easier, you are able to drag these columns over. So now we are able to go ahead and grab our wheat fields that we have in here. And then we can go ahead and apply that wheat plan from the right-hand side to those wheat fields, and then just kind of repeat as we're going through here. And if you have varieties, specific varieties, when you go to apply it, it will ask you if you want specific variety applied or if you just want it to be an unspecified variety. This time of year, it's a great thing to be able to have that option because you never know when you get to that spring what's going to be. And as you can see over on the right-hand side, when you drop these down, you are able to see all those steps in here as well. Coming in here, once you drop down on a specific section, you're able to see all that information. And this is also where you're able to change it on a field by field basis. So if you know the specific field's good and you don't usually have any issues with fungicide, you're able to go ahead and remove that step from your plan. You're also able to edit your yield goals from this section as well. If you know this field's usually a better field nutrient-wise, you're able to go ahead and up those yield goals. And then as you scroll across, you'll be able to see your nutrient totals, your yield goals, or your nutrient goals, and your summaries for your other products that you have in here. You can also move these up and down, or you can do a full edit on these. Once you come in here, you're able to go ahead and edit those rates on a field by field basis as well. Once you have your plans lined up, you are able to go ahead and export this information. You can export it into PDF to share it or into an Excel document. Just kind of an overview of how that works or looks is you have that total list of products and the amounts. And then for those that you have prices and stuff, those will all be listed in there as well. You can adjust those items when you're doing the export. If you don't want specific things to be in there, you are able to take the prices out if you want. And then also you're able to export it into an Excel document, so that way you can pull this information out and play around with it in an Excel sheet as well. So from here, you also have the tabs for products, which kind of gives you a more detailed view on your product by product basis, how much quantity you're using, breakdown by product information. If you want to look at what your blends are doing, you're able to come in here and see those blends that you're using and those costs and everything as well. And your crops. Also, if you need to do a quick change on your template, you are able to go back to the templates from this page and hop right into those and be able to make any changes needed. And from that planning page, we're going to hop back into that 2026 plan. And another option you have on the right-hand side here is if the field has previous crop plans or any previous product use, you are able to see your history on a year-over-year basis on the right-hand side. So as you can see here, we got the 2024 year and the products that were used for this specific field. If your fields do not have it, they won't, or don't have any history on them, it won't be listed over there. So from here, we'll move into the nutrient blender as long as there's no questions to this point. So now we are going to head back to that advice tab, and we are moving into the nutrient blender page. So you can see for 2026, I don't have any information in here as it's a new crop year. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to add, let's see, we're just going to title this our webinar. Once we are in creating this new blend in the nutrient blender, you can go ahead and choose your fields. So we'll do a couple different ones of these. First one here, we're going to just select a handful of fields to be able to bring in data and information for those fields. As you can see, that then totals the total acreage for you. You're able to go ahead and open up your nutrient goals. and you are able to, since we have multiple fields with multiple different crops on them, we don't have a specific crop up here. At the very top, you're also able to add in your micronutrients. So we have NPK here as a default. Otherwise, you can go ahead and add in sulfur or any other products that you would have that you want to get added. And then you are able to go ahead and work through and then on each field basis, you'll see on some of these fields here, we've got soil samples. So this will be any sample data that you have had in the past. It'll go ahead and pull that information in for you. And you'll just see now you put those combined goals in here, so those goals will be listed. And we can go ahead and add in from mixes. So these would be any of the mixes that we have created previously. So we're just going to go ahead and do a spring fert in here, and we'll bring in the webinar, the spring fertilizer step. This is where we'll start here. So as you can see, now we've brought in the spring fertilizer step. So you're able to see on the right-hand side your goals that you had set, the totals that the spring fertilizer is brought in, and then what is still remaining or what is still needed on here. So within here, you're also able to edit these blends that you have going on, or if that is what you want to have, you just leave it. We can go ahead and add in a blank step. So we've got spring fertilizer, so let's just throw in some fall fert as well. Maybe add in some MAP here. Maybe a little bit of extra phosphorus as well. Just kind of bring in a couple different items here. And then you're able to see real time once that information gets added, that your totals and what's needed gets adjusted on that right-hand side. So you're able to go ahead and adjust this to whatever we're needing. On a step-by-step basis with the nutrient blender. And then we are able to go in back up to this tab up here to bring up those goals. And then this is where you can also work to adjust those or bring in that soil data information to be able to pull that information as well. We're going to go ahead and save this. And then now you can see that we have our webinar blend, and then within here you get that breakdown on for the spring fert and the fall fertilizer of how many pounds per acre you're putting on, what it's going to cost you per acre, and then your total as well for the bulk densities. And then each one you're able to break those down and then see that information on an individual basis. And you're able to see those product totals and other information on the right hand side as well. And you can even go into here from this screen and edit if you, so say once you get going in here, you realize like, oh, the price on this one is actually $7.80. You're able to go ahead and get that updated from this screen, and you're able to export this information into a PDF. And again, these PDFs are able to be changed where you can show the products or the prices or however you want to be able to share that information with your grower and your team. Again, once you're on this PDF, you'll be able to see all the information broken down by your products, your rates, totals, and then any pricing information if that's available. And then on the second page, you'll have all of your combined product totals available to you. And we will come back into here, and then we'll go back to the nutrient blender tab. And now you'll see that that webinar blend that we just created is in here. And we're able to go ahead and create another one based on different types of information, or if you have different customers that you want to go ahead and create these for different field sets or organizations within your company, you're able to go ahead and do that as well. So this one here, we'll just make this one our soy-based blend. You can see that the acreage updates, we're able to come in here and set what our combined goals are. Now we can see those goals, and then we can come in here from our mixes and we can grab our another mix that we have. And then go ahead and add in, again, those step-by-step, just those individual ones as well. And as you can see, we added those in, and then everything on the right-hand side there updated. You can go ahead and save this. And that nutrient blend then gets added to that list, and we're able to go and view that or export it, send that information to your customers however you need, or whoever needs to be seeing that information. That is all I have to show. We can go ahead and move into some Q&A. If anybody has any questions, we can go ahead and get those answered for you at this time.
So Sheila, there has not been any questions posted yet. So maybe give a couple of minutes.
Yep.
Please use the chat. I did post a message there a few minutes ago. So hopefully you can find that. And
okay. Yeah, while we're waiting for any questions to come in that people have, just a quick update. Our support phone line did change. So now we do have a new phone number. So if you guys could please make note of that. When this phone, the unique thing about this is when this comes in, it will ring our entire support team at one time. So that way we're not just dialing direct to one specific person. So that's a great new feature that we have that's available for everybody, to be able to help cut down on some of those support time waits for you guys as well. And then also, as I stated when we first got going today, we also have FarmQA Day next week. So make sure that if you have not yet bought your tickets and you're able to come, to go ahead and get those purchased. It starts next Tuesday at noon.